Hi and welcome to this look at the 14-day weather prospects. December has been quite a cold month so far, with temperatures running about 1 Celsius below the 30-year average. Now, are things set to change during the next week or two? In a word, the answer is yes. Okay, so I'm going to start off by taking a look at the picture across the North Atlantic and Europe. This chart is for 09 GMT, Thursday the 10th of December, and what we can see is high pressure over continental Europe still having some influence. This has been blocking the eastwards progression of Atlantic weather systems during the last week or so, and it has kept the UK under relatively cold air for much of the early part of the month. Now, if I run the sequence, let's see what happens in the next few days. So here we go. And you'll see if I stop it here at 18 GMT on Saturday, the 12th of December, by then we are seeing a more mobile picture beginning to establish itself. In other words, weather systems in the Atlantic are pushing further and further eastwards across the UK and into continental Europe as the big area of high pressure over the continent slips away further and further eastwards. What that means for our weather is a more typical pattern becoming established. So we can expect all parts of the UK to see rain at times during this period. The rain could well be heavy. It also means windy conditions at times, so gales are quite possible. And the other big change is that with the air coming in from the west or the southwest, temperatures will climb to the average or above the average. So yes, it is going to turn significantly milder in the coming days. If I just continue this sequence beyond Saturday and into the early part of next week, and I'll stop it there at 15 GMT on Tuesday the 15th of December. By this point, it's very much an Atlantic driven picture across the UK and much of northwestern Europe. So as I say, it's into the wet and windy style of weather that we all know pretty well, and which is very frequent during the winter months in our part of the world. Now what we can see is an area of low pressure centred to the northwest, close to Iceland, which is just on the edge of this plot. And at this point, we've got quite a nasty looking little feature approaching the southwest of UK. You can see the tightly packed isobars close to it, which indicate the potential for very, very strong winds. The yellow and green shading there indicates the risk of very heavy rainfall, and that really will be a feature of the weather during the coming days. We don't need to focus too much on the details of this range, but the key thing to bear in mind is the potential for these little features to develop in the Atlantic and run in from the southwest towards the UK and bring the risk of very wet and windy periods. In fact, flooding could well become an issue, and strong winds, maybe even gales or severe gales, could lead to some disruption too. So if I just play this through to the end, which is just about there at 15 GMT on Thursday the 17th of December, by then we can see these low pressure areas pushing across the UK, heading northeastwards into Scandinavia. So it remains unsettled and wet and windy at times during the second half of next week. At least that's what the computer models are strongly pointing towards at the moment. Okay, so what about in the longer term? Well, as I often do, I'll bring up the 16-day GEFS plots to provide some more information. This one is for London, and if you can remember, across the horizontal axis it's for time, so it starts today and it goes out to about the 25th of December, so Christmas Day. On the top half, we can see 850 HPA temperatures, so those are about 1,500 meters above sea level. And the key thing to see here is that they are often above the 30-year average, indicated by the black line, which runs across here. And that remains the case until about the 21st of December. So it looks like being relatively mild during week 2 of this forecast period. As we approach Christmas itself, this is quite interesting because there is a signal showing on this plot for it to begin to turn colder. You can see the purple line there, which shows the average of all the runs in the GEFS model, dips below the 30-year average, and it stays there until Christmas Day, until Boxing Day, actually, where this finishes. Now, on the lower half of the plot, we can see the rainfall precipitation forecasts. In a nutshell, the next couple of weeks are looking quite wet. On this chart, there is the potential for significant rainfall. As I mentioned in the animation, we could be seeing some quite nasty little disturbances pushing in from the southwest across Britain at times. Now, as we go towards Christmas, on the last couple of days here, there's just one thing I'll draw your attention to, which is the snow row that runs across the bottom here, the very bottom of the chart, and it shows how many runs in the GEFS model are forecasting snow on a given day. The maximum value it can have is 33. And what we can see for much of the next 16 days is it's 0. In fact, it's 0 all the way across until day 15, when it climbs to 4. And then on day 16, it reaches 5. And those values probably tie in quite nicely with the possible transition to colder weather towards the very end of this 16-day period. So if you are hoping for a more seasonal Christmas this year, keep your fingers crossed. This does not rule out the possibility yet. If I jump up to the equivalent chart for Glasgow, again, it's a very similar pattern. I've not annotated this one, but the theme is the same as for the London one. You can see that during the last few days of this 850 HPA temperatures also dip below the 30-year average, in fact from about the 21st of December, and the precipitation outlook is also suggesting an ongoing possibility of rain, some heavy rain at times, and at the very end, to tie in with that possible transition to colder conditions, we see the snow row values beginning to tick up, and 3, 4, 2 at the very end. So slightly higher risk of snow, but remember, as I say, values of 3, 4, 5, which are the maximum we're seeing on these charts just at the moment, indicate no more than a 1 in 6 chance of 1 in 6, 1 in 7 chance of snow falling on that given day. So it's not out of the question, but the probability of it happening currently is low. Here's the comparable plot for Cairngorms. I just thought I would show this one for interest only. I don't think many of us are living up there. But the key thing is it highlights the snow row values quite nicely. We can see here, as you would expect in the Scottish Highlands, the possibility of snow is much, much greater than it is for locations such as Glasgow or London. And in fact, on Christmas Day here, we're seeing a snow row value of 21. So roughly 60% chance of snow falling on Christmas Day over the Cairngorm Mountains. That may well be the place to go if you're looking for a white Christmas in the UK this year. Okay, and finally, just to show you the temperature anomaly plot at the 850 HPA level for the week beginning the 23rd of December. So little sneak preview of Christmas week. This is from the GEFS 35-day model, and you can see the UK here with the blue circle surrounding it. And the anomaly for the Christmas week currently is slightly negative in the southern half of the UK. There isn't really an anomaly if you head further north. So it's suggesting the possibility of Christmas week bringing some colder conditions at times at least. Because if you remember, this is taking the values over the entire week and averaging them out. So yeah, we could be seeing some colder days during the Christmas week. Who knows? It's still a long way off. So to summarize, during the first week, there's an increase in risk of heavy rain and strong winds. It will be a lot milder than it has been during the first third of December. As we go through week 2 of the forecast period, the unsettled and rather mild weather is likely to continue, at least initially. Towards the end of the week, it could begin to turn colder. So there we have it. If you enjoyed and found this video useful, please do remember to hit the subscribe button below. And that way you'll be notified of future videos and updates as I publish them. Thank you for watching. Bye now.